I'm Sue Artz. My husband is Matt Artz, and this is our little international film festival. We love films. We love more when we go out to conventions and get to like meet people and see where they came from. Um, so we're so happy that you came to see us today, and we're about to do our first North Carolina Q&A panel. So at this time, I'm gonna bring up our two NC people who you just watch your films. Representative Jacob Parris. And Tammy, come on up here. Man, I love those dress. I wish I could wear those stockings.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, careful. See, he could like knock you over so easily. Okay, so if it's cool, you guys are gonna share that mic, and you probably have to just switch the little switch on.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right, so thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Can you tell everybody who you are and where you came from?
I'm Tammy Mattox, and I live an hour outside of west of Asheville in a little town called Bryson City, North Carolina.
Nice.
And I am the writer, producer, and actress of The Ensuing.
Nice. A woman of all trades.
It's good to have all those covered.
Yeah.
I'm Jacob Parris, born and raised in North Carolina grew up in Asheboro, live in Winston-Salem. Been doing film on and off for a while. When you look back and start to think about that, it's like, wait a minute, that's been longer than I thought. But yeah.
So what is your role exactly with films?
So, generally, for this one I was kind of on more producing side, but I do cinematography, editing, lighting, VFX. I run a company called Type 40 Productions,
Okay.
based out of Winston-Salem, and we do...
Hey, Tammy, you guys are close if you ever need someone.
Yeah.
I actually have family up in Asheville.
Do you?
Yeah, my
Nice.
sister is one of the health inspectors for y'all's area.
Small world.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've pretty much anything behind the camera I've done at some point or another.
Nice.
Once or twice been up in front, but I definitely prefer to be behind.
Yeah, I understand that. I know somebody else who might be like that. But it's so important too. So Tammy, what about you? You do everything, it seems like.
So The Ensuing was probably the first one that I had written. I went on and I have written several, just about every genre now. And but my main focus is actually acting.
Oh.
Yeah. Just like a lot of other actresses, I have an agent, I audition, but in between that, I write and produce my own stuff.
Nice, that's totally awesome. So this is a question for both of you guys. Like, how old were you when you started getting into being interested in like horror and filmmaking? Or do you have any Halloween memories from when you were little?
Oh, Halloween, it was always one of my favorites.
Nice.
But I started actually writing. They would look more like a play because I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I would write out these screenplays on paper, and then I would act in it. I would make my friends act in it. They were always like, oh, not again. But I've been doing that as long as I can remember, and so it was only natural for me to come back and do this as an adult.
That's awesome. How about you, Jacob?
About the same in terms of like starting when I was a kid. I can remember. I remember what I think got me more into the behind the scenes aspect was there used to be shows on like Discovery Channel and Learning Channel that were like movie magic, or like I'd watch the making of for different films, and some of the first things I remember doing was like taking my little model X-Wing and trying to do like, well, what would that look like here? And then kind coming up through high school, I was a member. I was very fortunate. We had an independent film club within our high school, and I became part of that. And then just over time, it was kind of one of those things where I'd pick it up every couple of years, do a couple of things, and then get busy with something else. And then when I was in college, I was sort of listlessly I was like, maybe I'll do engineering, maybe I'll do some business management, and nothing was really clicking. And so I switched over to media studies at UNCG, and since then have been building my company in terms of like getting equipment and doing things on the side. Or I say on the side, but doing like film and editing and such for both. I mean, I've done from making films to just, the local theater wants to record their show. Okay, well, I got cameras, let's go set this up. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you guys have a preference? Well, this is mostly for you, Jacob, between CG and practical effects.
So, for me, it's actually, it's all about what tells the best story. It's all about like what, because you can sometimes tell, at least from my perspective, you can sometimes tell just as good of a story with a practical effect as you can with trying to make it, fantastical. A recent example for me, one of my other short films that is touring right now, Emotional Support Demon, I did the VFX on that one. I did not write it. It was very well written, but I cannot claim that title. But for one scene, I went very VFX heavy to get like a demon like changing form. Mm-hmm. But I was working on another scene later where it was supposed to be like a body that looked like it was bleeding and like had been dismembered and all that, par for the course. And we had filmed a practical setup on set that day that I actually went and 3D scanned and had in my system and was trying to do VFX like render or running VFX like liquid sims and things like on that to get that to run. And finally in the end it was like, this just works better just by itself.
Yeah, I can understand that. I know it's like much easier probably, even though you don't want to bend, but so another question for both of you. What is your favorite scary movie? Like the first one and maybe the scariest.
I really got into the first Conjuring and the first Annabelle.
Mm-hmm.
To me, they were very terrifying. Actually, the music and probably more Annabelle. I used that as inspiration for my film, The Ensuing.
Nice, that's awesome.
So the guy who scored that, it was a lot of violin scary sounds. And,
You had Neil, didn't you?
yes.
Yeah, he scored Emotional Support Demon for us. He's awesome. For me, I would say like as far as horror or like scary movies, I was always partial to the Evil Dead trilogy, the original. Partially just because of very like stripped down independent film for those first two, especially that first one. And then, but I would say like as far as like it does really good atmosphere and and especially when it comes to like music, is The Shining. Like by itself, I mean, I appreciate Kubrick's. I mean, he was a bit of a torturer. I don't like that, but he got some good like films, but they're a lot more drawn out than what we may recognize in modern film. But the music just adds.
Oh yeah, it's so important. I know when we're like screening films, the sound. I mean, it just makes all the difference in the world. I'm about to open it up to you guys in the audience, but I have one more question. We always like to ask people, what's your favorite Halloween candy?
The Halloween Reese cups.
Okay.
I'm the odd one. I like candy corn.
I knew it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I get a lot of weird looks, but that's my favorite.
Yeah, you're not the only one, trust me. So we have some people in our audience. Does anybody have a question for these two?
I have a question.
Yes.
What are some of the positives of filming and producing projects in your specific area?
start with that one. For me, I was very fortunate. I've been very fortunate to always have access to really cool places and really cool locations, and I was able to film a 48-hour film project at a hand-built check dam in Ashboro. Got to film I got to film a medieval. I got to make a bar in downtown Greensboro look like a medieval tavern, and just sort of, I feel like there's something about North Carolina, especially, and for me being in the Piedmont area, like dead center, really any set that you need can be found in North Carolina. From mountains to beach to, go over to Jockey's Ridge and it'll look like, Tunisia if you angle it right.
Tattooing.
So.
I think that the mountains have a lot of great opportunity to tell great stories. Where we filmed the Ensuing, it was on the Parkway, and I don't know if you noticed, but the beautiful colors of the fall colors were happening. So I think there's so many opportunities for filming in our area, and I would love for it to pick up even more in the Asheville area. Yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Our executive producer.
Thank you for coming tonight. My question is, are you exclusively in the horror genre, or have you shot movies in other genres like period pieces or comedies or action? Is this your starting point? Are you going to branch out into other genres?
I have written probably a screenplay and short films in every genre. I'm just starting my feature length. But I really like drama. Actually, I like comedy too. But I do seem to be catching speed with horror films right now. I have a feature film that's coming out soon that I did not write. I produced and acted in. And it's called All That Is Evil. And we're hoping that one's going to be big time. So, yeah, another horror film. And also, I just booked another horror film as an actress that's filming in Kentucky. So, horror seems to be my thing here lately.
That's awesome. For me, I appreciate horror. I prefer to write, and a lot of what if I'm doing one of my projects like that I've written and wanting to direct, it's going to be more likely to be a drama or a comedy or some mix of the two. One of my favorite pieces that I worked on, which unfortunately because of hard drive issues I lost half of it. Yeah, that one still hurts. But it was a story written just between two former high school sweethearts that were re-meeting and just having a conversation over how the relationship had been and how they were at that point in their lives, with not any kind of horror aspect to it, but just there's something about, for me, I'm drawn more towards I guess human stories and just sort of getting into those kinds of aspects, which you can do effectively in horror. It's just not been one that I personally have jumped into as much.
Nice. Anybody else? You guys probably talk about everything already, so.
What do you recommend?
Yes.
We were just joking that it's.
I know. I
Stripe
thought that was
asking a
funny
question.
too. Yeah.
He's got a question, yeah.
I think he's wondering if we're going to start using Muppets in our future films. I would love to.
We had one
That's what
a
it is.
couple years ago. Don't you remember? I think you were there that time.
That's
With the, what was he called?
The Fluffit.
The Fluffit. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
brought the puppet and
like the
everything.
Fluffit, yeah.
Yep. Pretty cool.
I was going to ask for you both, when was the moment, or was there a moment you can pinpoint where you were decided that you wanted to get into filmmaking?
Well, I've always had the writer thing in me, as writing everything as a child, and honestly, acting is really where my heart is. So I just started writing to have something to act in. So, and I would cast a lot of. Well, I would have A lot of my films you had to audition for it, but sometimes I would cast my friends that were actors also, and that would have been training right alongside them.
Have you always wanted to? I'm sorry. Have you always wanted to be an actor too?
As far back as I can remember, I mean, even is this even on? Even as a kid, I mean, I would like act out little skits in front of my parents, and I have no idea where this comes from. Like, I didn't ask for this. I don't know why I love it so much, but it's always been there since as far back as I can remember.
So, like, wanting to be involved in film had always kind of been there as well. Like, for me, like I mentioned, when I was a kid, you know, trying to make like little stop motion type things with my toys. But I do actually remember the exact moment I decided I wanted to make it a career, and it was, as I said, I'd been sort of bouncing around with different majors. I was in business management at the time, and I just wasn't, like, I was getting it, but I just wasn't, I didn't have the heart for it. And I went to go see a movie with my friends, and I'd been talking to my buddy, like, hey, you know, I'm really unhappy with this. I don't really know what I want to do. And he's like, what do you enjoy? And it was the movie, and I can't tell you the name of the movie because I can't remember, but it's the one that had Denzel Washington. He was blind, walking with, like, he had a Bible. I think Mila Kunis was in it.
Yeah.
That one. And I remember watching this movie. Obviously, I remember not that much about it, but just sort of rolling it through my head, and but then also paying attention to the film itself, going, oh man, I wonder how they did that shot, or wonder how they did this. And by the end of it, I looked over to my buddy and I was like, film. It's what I want. I want to do film in some form or fashion. I want to be involved, and that's kind of been my main thrust ever since.
All right, we have all sorts of adventures here. Our new venue that we've had for this year, the Pioneer Theater, and this is legendary and a historical landmark, the oldest family-owned theater on the East Coast, right? Or is it in the whole country?
I think in the country.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the
That
whole
sounds good.
world because we've been having fun here. Do we have any more questions for our guests?
I have one more. Guys, are you finding that AI is helping you produce movies, or is it making it harder and it's a hindrance?
As an actress, I am opposed to AI, but I don't work a lot, and I don't do the editing, processing. So, but I can only assume that it's not a good thing, but it could make people's lives easier, and could save money, perhaps. But I'm not sure about if it would cut out jobs, you know.
Since I do work on the back end with computer, I mean, I've been building computers since I was a kid as well. Like, I'm very technically minded with that, and so I've experimented some with AI. Honestly, I'm waiting for the bubble to burst. I think it is much like anything. I think it can be a good tool. I think it's going, and you know, I feel like down the line, the abilities that it, or the things that it can do with information that you give it, I think can be a pretty cool thing, like when done ethically. And I think that's the big problem with it, is to get those models that accurate, you almost have to steal. I mean, these places are stealing art to do that. And like, once you cross that line, it's a no-go. It's part of the reason I refuse to use Adobe products. Shout out to DaVinci Resolve for anybody looking for a good editing suite. They just posted, or on their website recently, they have a little blurb. They're like, none of your stuff will ever be used for AI training. And I was like, cool, you have me for lifetime. Plus, it's not a subscription, it's a one-time purchase. But I am not paid by DaVinci. I wish. I need a job. But anyway, and as someone who, like, being in this industry and having so many friends that are artists on different levels, from just illustration to 3D to across the board, watching this become the new big thing when other people are losing their job as a result. I had I had someone come to talk to me the other day about doing a radio spot for a small business that my wife and I work at, and I was talking to them about, oh, well, if you ever need a voiceover guy, like I'm okay with my voice on the mic. I'm all right with that. And they were like, oh, we have an AI suite that'll just take care of, and we probably could even replicate your voice on that. And I just like, it took everything I could to keep a straight face and not just be like, get the hell out of my store, because that's my take on it. I think it's something that the technology behind it, I think, will be a good tool, so long as we are using it in an ethical manner that is not destroying the careers of artists.
That was a great question. Thank you guys so much, and yeah, good job, you guys. Thank you.